and intellect every Thursday from 11 to 1. I'm Dr. Pamela, and today we are engaging in some real talk. We are talking about grown folks and the love and relationships experience. In a blog posted about a year ago, I did a bit of analyzing on the state of love and dating in today's age. Now, as a single woman dating in my early 40s, I've had a hard time understanding why men and women alike are expected to settle for mediocre relationships and accept mediocre treatment in silence. From a woman's perspective, I have quite often asked myself, where has the chivalry gone? And I'm sure the good men out there are asking similar questions about the women that they're meeting. So my research and heck, my personal experiences tell me that in my age dating bracket, which I'll say, 37 to 49, we are carrying so much more baggage than in the years past. We're not dating the same kind of people we dated in our early 20s. We are now dating people who have been married and divorced or who are still married, people with kids, people who've had custody battles, people who regret their careers, people who are displeased with where they are in life. And all of this baggage has birthed an entire generation of unprecedented bitterness and mistrust and self-preservation. So today, I am joined by relationship expert and founder of the Love and Relationships Experience, TRaynard, who is going to help break some of this down today. So as always, we've got some trending topics to discuss, we've got research to dish, and of course, we've got my weekly balance challenge. So stay with us. We'll be right back on the Live Exchange.
Great leaders aren't born, they're made. And not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
Attention, licensed financial professionals. Are you looking to provide client solutions for longevity risks, withdrawal rate risks, and sequence of return risks? If you answered yes, then Game Plan Financial Marketing could be right for you. We help financial professionals at every level of production by providing mentoring, sales training, and marketing support to help you grow your business. At Game Plan, our top priority is supporting you and helping you reach that next level of success on your terms, not ours. New team members receive a personalized, step-by-step marketing guide to help take your business to the next level. Claim your copy today. Call Brian Cantrell at 404-889-6317. That's 404-889-6317. Offer is intended for licensed insurance professionals only.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing, but not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. This breaks my heart, and it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and gives it to families in need. To help, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. Today, we are having a great conversation about love and relationship and what it means in this day and age to be out there dating. And so I want to introduce our guest. Yeah, that too. I don't know, but okay. TRaynard was born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia. It was Atlanta's Albany State University. And he developed a love for television, which catapulted him into a 13-year TV news career, including 7 years at the NBC station in Atlanta. He owns a number of companies, including My Education Express Incorporated, an online tutorial company, and Destiny Travels, which is a full-service travel agency. I love it. His greatest passion is helping singles and couples navigate the slippery slope of love and relationships. Through exciting and engaging live events and his weekly podcast, TRaynard Love and Relationships, he has helped hundreds of people understand love from a male perspective. And we need that male perspective. Yes, welcome.
What's up, Dr.
Yes,
Pam?
he's back. He's
I am
back.
back. and you know what? You look all summery and looking all
Thank
good,
It's, it's about time. I've been waiting. I have been waiting.
Okay, but I got to ask the question.
Okay.
All of this is looking good.
Okay.
How do the feet look?
The feet are they're okay right now. Yeah, the shoes were strategic today. So this
Okay.
is not the day to ask me about my feet.
I'm just saying it all has to coordinate.
Yes. And so today is when I go get my feet done to get ready for big events on Saturday.
All right. Okay.
So yeah, I was real strategic. You see that?
Okay.
Yeah, covered up.
All right.
Yeah.
You good,
But it's a good question. You got to know head to toe. Is it all
Right.
good? How are your feet doing?
Oh, you know what? I have nice feet. Matter of
Okay.
fact, I had a pedicure last week.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And the lady, she kept asking me, she was like, you want some polish on this? And I was like, nah, straight man, we don't do that, right?
Really?
I was like, just buff it, no polish.
Is that
Oh, it's just clear polish. No, ma'am.
so? Not even clear
Oh,
polish.
no.
Oh wow. Is that like a rule, a universal rule that
That's
we
breaking
just
the
don't know
man
about?
code, Dr. Pam.
Okay.
You know, so
Okay.
I don't want to attract any unwanted attention here in the ATL.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I'm gonna pull back because I was gonna ask a question, but I'm gonna pull back. We're not going there today. We're just not.
Okay.
we are just not. So, but tell me a little bit about how you got into what you're doing with regards to relationships, because I know I also started in television, and it's like, well, how do you get from that to relationships?
Well, the interesting thing, my 13-year career in TV was behind the scenes. I'm a behind the scenes kind of guy.
Okay.
But it really started out with, having female friends who said, hey, this is what's going on with my guy. Can you help me? What is he thinking?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm very in touch with my innermost feelings and thoughts.
Okay.
So I was able to tell them, hey, you know what? This is what he's thinking from a male perspective. And so after a while, and then my own personal experiences, and just really seeing the breakdown of families,
Yeah.
including my own family, my own trials and tribulations. And, as you get older,
Right.
you start to reflect back on some of the mistakes you made.
Right.
And, God just really brought me from a very deep, dark place where I was
Okay.
due to failed relationships. And so I began to study, began to talk to people, and really began to ask him to use me to make a difference in the lives of men and women.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. And yes, something about this time in our lives causes us to reflect.
Yes.
Like, okay, back in the day, this used to be midlife halfway through, but now
Right.
we're going to live to about 120 in this
Absolutely.
generation. So, so we're like at the quarter mark. All right, stay with us. We're going to come with some trending topics and some interesting conversation about Childish Gambino. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
You use tearless baby shampoo because it's gentle on your baby's eyes. You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You always test the bathwater to make sure it's not too hot. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off. You make sure she wears a helmet when she rides her bicycle. You put on his sunscreen, even when he's embarrassed his friends will see. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Is your child facing the right way in the car seat? Is the seat too big or too small? How do you know when it's time to move your child into the next type of seat? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat. That's safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Having trouble finding Connor's middle school? Would you like directions?
No, why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with him over homework.
Home walk restaurant. Need a review?
No, I need help. He's very smart, but his mind wanders. He's disorganized.
I think I understand.
Oh, good.
Finding best potatoes for French fries.
No!
Russet. Fingerling, Yukon Gold.
Why don't you understand me?
Sorry, I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
For the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues, this is what life can feel like. Explore understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues, designed to help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
Brought to you by understood.org and the ad council.
Lack of diversity. Gas prices.
Michael Jackson. Trending topics.
All right. So one of the things that is definitely trending this week, Donald Glover, who's also known as Childish Gambino, and I have to admit I did not know that. I did not know that this was the same, individual. And he's the one who did the song "Stay Woke," and that's like my jam. I love that song. Well, he dropped a video over the weekend, and it's entitled "This Is America," and it really has some thought-provoking, just vivid, challenging images throughout the video that really just, they're shocking. And so there's been a lot of conversation about the depth of this video and the fact that, it covers a lot of the things that are happening in society with the shooting. I mean, you see a choir and they're gunned down, and it's like, what are your thoughts just on that video alone?
You know what? It's reality now for us.
Sadly.
I mean, it really is. Remember, America used to be the place where everyone would risk their lives to get to.
Right.
We were the most powerful country in the world. We were the land of the free and equality.
Right.
We had overcome. I don't think so now. I'm afraid for my children.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
And to be honest with you, even driving today, an officer pulled behind me. And I immediately went into mode like, okay, what if he stops me? Even though I wasn't doing anything.
Right.
But what if he stops me? I need to make sure I'm in a public place.
Right. You are the prototype of the kind of man,
Exactly.
black male, tall, and that's the man that they think is intimidating.
You didn't say fine.
Fine,
Okay,
all of that. Yeah, all of that.
You're right. And so I am a threat. So when we see videos like that, that's now our reality.
Yeah, that's disturbing. That's disturbing. And when I see a police officer, and I'm not even a black male, although black women are, at risk as well, I have a physical response. Like the chills, it's anxiety. It's all of the symptoms of anxiety that happen in a physical sense.
Right.
That happen.
And the law enforcement, they're our friends. They're here to protect us, right?
With the
right.
air quotes.
Right.
Right.
But what's sad is that not everyone in America has to deal with some of the things that we saw in the video.
Right.
That's just a reality for me and you.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things though I wonder is I know that it was intentionally, primarily black in the video, but the reality is what happens in one community spills over, and when one community is oppressed and treated a certain way, everybody is impacted in one way, even if they want to turn their heads.
Right.
This is America,
right.
So this affects everybody, and
right.
we can turn our heads if we want to and say, well, that's that community, but.
And the interesting thing, it's not just a black-white issue.
Right.
It's a upper-class, middle-class issue.
Right.
Middle-class, lower-class issue as well.
Yeah.
And it's not until it affects your community directly that it gets your attention.
Right, and which is really sad. So a lot of the discussion that's happening around this video, we've got all the conversation about how deep it is and how Childish Gambino is putting out all this conscious music to make us think. And then you've got the other crowd. There's so much division. And the other crowd is questioning whether or not he is truly qualified to speak on issues of race and discrimination against black people because he has children and is married to a white woman.
And I find that interesting because black men throughout history, strong, powerful, influential African-American men have had white women at their sides. I mean, Frederick Douglass, had a white wife.
He's, according to this group, he's not qualified and he's not really, truly conscious.
Sidney Poitier, white wife, right?
Right.
And I think, honestly, 100% disagree with that. You know, that's his personal choice. That does not necessarily mean that he can't identify with the struggles that we have as African Americans.
Right. I honestly think it's kind of ridiculous to assume that he can't identify when he drives down the street and has a police officer pass him by the same way you did earlier today. And it doesn't matter if his wife at home is white, because he's going to have the same encounter or possibly the same encounter.
Absolutely. And, you know, I think, and you're right, he may be more of a target. You know, as a result of that
situation.
Because I know it's a different day and time, but heavyweight champion Jack Johnson, you know, dealt with the same thing because he had a white wife. And, you know, it's just sad that's it's sad.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and so I personally have never dated interracially, but I'm not opposed to it. I'm not anti. I'm not against it. I've just have just been attracted to black men. I mean, that's just been, I don't know, fault me, but that's been my that has been my attraction. But I have a hard time when people place their own preferences on other people and say that they need to think the way that they think.
You know, interestingly enough, I too have never dated outside of the black race. But I have sat down and I thought about it.
I remember you said that on the last show.
Yeah.
But I don't like the reason you said it. Okay. Go ahead, share.
I'm trying to remember. What's the reason I gave you?
Well, and I don't know. You may have been joking, but you were saying that you know, the black women are just acting up. I'm about to go to Colombia or somewhere and get me a wife of a different culture.
Well, you know what? And I'm not just speaking for TRaynard. I'm speaking for a lot of black men that I talk to on a daily basis. We're just tired.
Yeah.
We're frustrated. I mean, we love the strong black woman. But damn, sometimes y'all are too strong.
Oh, okay. And this is good. We need to hear this. We need to hear you're tired. Because we say it amongst ourselves all the time.
Right.
We're tired.
You know, I mean, think about, what we have to deal with in society on our jobs or just driving down the street. You know, those stresses, those pressures. The pressure, self-imposed pressure of financially taking care of our families and leading our families in the right direction. But then we have to come home to that strong black woman. And now I understand it because that strong black woman was, groomed by her mom or her dad to be strong and independent and never be codependent on a man.
Right.
Okay. But sometimes it's hard to turn it on and off.
I wanted you to say, I get to come home to a strong black woman instead of we have to come home. But I hear you. I want to talk more about that because that's important. That is deep. So stay with us. Stay woke. We'll be right back on the live exchange.
Okay, so 5 tacos of cheese and a large soda. That's $10,012. Please drive around.
Wait, 10,000 what?
It's obvious you're buzzed and driving.
I've only had a few. I'm fine.
Yeah, the food's $12, but getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Please drive around. Actually, just park and come in.
Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
We're more connected than ever before. 90% of America's students use some form of social media, but not all of it's used in a good way. Hurtful posts online are leading to social isolation for many. Psychologists say it's bullying in a brand new way. Well, Beyond Differences and I Keep Safe are looking to change that with ideas for students, their parents, and even teachers. Take the pledge to be kind online and learn more at wearekindonline.com.
When it comes to saving money, don't act like a baby.
Goo goo gaga.
Be the boss and make a budget.
I'm the boss, baby.
You're not the boss of me.
I am the boss of you.
Are not.
M2.
Are not.
M2.
Need a little help?
Aren't you going to do any work?
I'm very busy delegating.
Create a personalized savings plan.
We could share.
You obviously didn't go to business school.
And get other tools and tips at feedthepig.org. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
If you're looking for that ratchet, you're in the wrong place. It's the nation's urban internet station, Sensation Station Network.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. We are talking about just really the love and relationship experience in this day and age. And I'm joined by TRaynard, and he was just giving us some insight about how black men are tired. They're tired, and I'd love for you to elaborate on that. You mentioned working hard, dealing with the grind, and then coming home to a strong woman.
Right.
What is that? Or, having to come home, not getting to come home to a strong one, but having to come home is what he said.
Well, and let me be very clear. Real men, we desire a strong, phenomenal woman at our sides.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's not the issue. I think the breakdown comes with a lot of our sisters were groomed by their mothers or by their fathers to be strong and independent. Mm-hmm. Because let's be honest, the reality is, there are a whole lot more women than there are men. So there's a distinct possibility that a woman may not get married, okay? Mm-hmm. So she has to be able to get her own house and get her own car and go throughout life, possibly without a mate. So you're groomed to be independent. And so what happens when you get into a union with a man, then I think it's difficult for women sometimes to be able to pull back or to look at, okay, how can I coexist with my mate?
Okay.
All right. And it's simple things. It's like, a woman told me the other day, she says, well, I talked to my husband about buying a car. And he says, well, no, honey, now is not the time. Let's sit down and let's plan it out. And maybe we do it in 12 months. She said, no, I wanted it. So I went to the dealership and bought it myself.
Yeah, that's not what you do in a partnership.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And so I think that becomes problematic in relationships because instead of a partnership, you have a power struggle.
Right.
And one of the things that I love, I think about when God created Eve, mm-hmm. okay, it was God who realized that Adam needed a helpmate. Mm-hmm. It wasn't Adam. Adam was out naming the animals and doing his thing. He thought he was good.
Right.
But it was God that said, you need Eve. Mm-hmm. Because he understood that a partnership needed to exist in order for them to be successful. Mm-hmm. But now we have power struggles within the household. And black men, we're saying we're tired. We don't want the struggle. We don't want to fight out in the streets and then come home and have a battle as well.
That's so interesting. So, and I don't want to counter your point because I think your point is great and it's valid and we need to hear it. But I do want to offer the other side. And what I offer on the other side is that we have to, because you mentioned we have to be able to adapt and adjust to another person being there. And I think that the way that black men struggle to adapt and to adjust to us being there is having that level of sensitivity and emotional intelligence to be able to say she's hurting or she needs this and I'm going to do that. And if it's done in the way that he wants to do it, but not in the way that she needs to receive it, then it's going to come off as a lack of appreciation. And so I think that there is definitely a challenge with both parties figuring out how to adapt to each other. From the woman's perspective, or from the woman's side, maybe too hard, not gentle enough. Right. On the men's side, I almost feel like it's the same way. He takes the grind in the street and brings it home. Right. And I think both need to figure out how to soften into each other.
And I think in the day of our parents, traditionally the man was the breadwinner.
Right.
Okay. In this day and time, you ladies are more degreed. Okay. You're pulling in higher incomes. And you have prestigious positions on your jobs.
Right.
So it's difficult for you to step into the household and say, okay, now I'm going to kind of step back and allow my husband to take the lead.
Yeah, and I think it goes both ways. I think it's difficult for the husband to step in the house and say, you know what, my wife has been taking the lead all day. Mm-hmm. This is what she's used to. Let me adapt and work with her so that we can both be in the lead together.
And one of the things that I have learned is that, see, women operate on love. Mm-hmm. Okay, women need love.
Right.
Men need respect.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay? And so you have to keep that in mind in all your dealings within the household, and that will go a long ways towards happiness.
Yes, and I just wish we both had what we needed to pull, because I think we need training. That's why we're doing these events.
Yes.
But we're going to get into the research and talk about this a little bit more.
In the interest of science,
Science. 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 Science.
All right, so today's science is brought to you by the Sweetest Taboo Bakery Delivery. It's located in Norcross, Georgia. There is no occasion too small or too big. All products are made with immeasurable love. One of the greatest benefits of choosing the Sweetest Taboo Delivery is the ability to customize any order. They are the company that brought the shiny, sparkly strawberries to the show last week, and they will have their strawberries at Women, Wine, and Wisdom this weekend. So check them out. Go to the sweetesttaboobakery.com and find out what they can do for you. So today's research is called Broken Windows Theory. I'd never heard of it before, and it's actually not even a relationship theory. It's a theory that has been applied to relationships, and I think it's really fascinating. So broken windows theory, it's a theory proposed by James Q. Wilson and George Kelling in 1982, and it basically says that it says that broken windows are a metaphor for disorder within neighborhoods. So the longer a window remains broken or the longer graffiti stays on the wall, the more likely that neighborhood is going to experience crime. If in a neighborhood where it's cleaned up right away, the crime is less likely to happen. So the philosophy is when signs of vandalism and disorder go unrepaired, then more crime takes place. So even Mayor Giuliani adopted a zero tolerance policy for these things to remain unaddressed so that they can, and then crime actually went down dramatically once that was passed. So Baggage Reclaim, this is the name of the blog, but Baggage Reclaim blogger Natalie Liu decided to apply this theory to relationships, boundaries, and self-esteem. And what she's saying here is she says that where you won't put up with shady carry-on, somebody else is too eager to grab the hot seat and let themselves and deal with it. So the more of us that have boundaries and hold ourselves to better standards, the less of a social norm it is for certain types of people to think that busting your boundaries is okay. So it's basically fix your broken windows. Clean up the graffiti, because if you are somebody walking around with all of that stuff on you, whether it's in your behavior and the way you look, people are going to think, oh, that's grounds for me to commit crimes or commit relationship offenses against because they still have broken windows. Fascinating.
But it's true. Unfortunately, there are a lot of men who prey on women. As men, we're able to size you up within a minute or two, right? And we know if you're that desperate woman, okay, we know that you're dealing with father abandonment issues, So men size you up and they see your baggage, they see your graffiti, your broken windows, and they say, there's an opportunity to step in, and that's unfortunate.
Wow. And that's... ladies, and I don't know, do you think this happens to men as well? Do ladies?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
This happened to me.
Okay.
Yeah, my graffiti, my baggage. For me, it's been the desire to have a family. Okay, because I'm a family man at this stage in my life. I'm into legacy building for my family. So what I found is that because I desire that so much, and there are women who see that, they're like, opportunity. And so I found myself in relationships that normally I wouldn't be in.
Right. Wow. Yeah, and that's exactly what Natalie is saying in this article. And she's just talking about the importance of us building those boundaries and making sure that we don't allow even the smallest things to go by without us noticing. It doesn't mean we have to check them every time a small thing happens, but we're taking account by, okay, I'm paying attention to that. And so what she says here is every acceptance of boundary crossing behavior and every time you sell yourself short is a broken window. So if you think of yourself as a collection of windows, how many broken windows do you have in the context of that relationship? They tell those that seek to create disorder and to vandalize that they can do as they like, and they can even squat on your property. So they can just hang in there. They can hang. That's so disturbing. But it's good information. It's truth. Yes. And there's a little bit more that I'd like to share with you when we come back and looking at what broken window behaviors look like so that we can identify those things and address them. So I can't wait to talk about that. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hey, Dr. Phil here. You know, I help people solve difficult problems every day, but one problem has me stumped: childhood hunger. Nearly 16 million children in America struggle with it. Luckily, the Feeding America network of local food banks collects surplus food, giving hope to hungry children and their families. But they need your help. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
We're more connected than ever before. 90% of America's students use some form of social media, but not all of it's used in a good way. Hurtful posts online are leading to social isolation for many. Psychologists say it's bullying in a brand new way. Well, Beyond Differences and I Keep Safe are looking to change that with ideas for students, their parents, and even teachers. Take the pledge to be kind online and learn more at wearekindonline.com.
You don't usually get a stock tip from a 16-year-old, but I'm here to tell you about a different kind of stock. It's called Better Futures, a stock for social change that's not about making money. Instead, you invest to help students like me go to college. This is beyond a simple donation. It's the opportunity for America to invest in its kids and take an active stake in the future of the country. The return on your investment isn't money. What you get back is knowing you protected our potential. So one day, that potential can grow up to become surgeons and architects, executives and engineers, people who can change the future just by being a part of it. My name is Alicia, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. A public service announcement brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
Good morning. We're back. For those of you who are just joining us, I am joined by TRaynard, and we are talking about relationships and what it means to be dating in this day and time. It's very different than it was when, our parents were coming up. Speaking of our parents, it is my mom's birthday today.
All right.
Yes.
Happy birthday, Mom.
Shout out to my mom, who is an amazing example of what it means to be a strong, sure of herself, beautiful woman.
Yes.
So thank you so much for bringing me up to be who I am today. I definitely have some of the, now she's a Taurus, so I'm not just talking about her individually. Y'all know how Tauruses are. You love the Tauruses, but don't make them mad. Don't make them mad. So she has taught me how to really stand up for myself. So I really appreciate that Taurus quality in her. Can learn from all of them.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. And so you have an event coming up this weekend.
Yes.
And it's on his shirt.
It's on my shirt.
Yes.
It's called the Love and Relationships Experience.
Okay.
And very quickly, at the Kylan Art Gallery, which is located in Midtown Atlanta, we're having an experience, not a roundtable discussion, an experience. We're going to have great food. A comedian is hosting and performing at intermission. A lot of giveaways. But the crux of what we're doing is we're going to have men and women who are talking about love and relationships, okay? Various aspects, everything from polyamorous relationships to, as women, how we think as men. So we're going to kind of tap you into our psyche, okay? And just have a healthy, interactive discussion. Okay. And so it's going to be great. It's from 5:30 to 9:30, and it's called the Love and Relationships Experience, and it's on Eventbrite.
Yep, and if you look that up on Facebook or Eventbrite, I think either way it'll come up. So yeah,
Definitely.
Check it out. I think we're going to a break because I hear this lovely music, and so we're going to go ahead and go a break.
All right.
Stay with us. We're going.
My savings are gone.
Okay, where were they last?
Here, right before I spent them on that vacation to Aruba.
Weird. Not weird. Not saving now means no money later. For free ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Tweens have mastered the art of tuning out. Jen, there's a spider in the car. We're turning your room into a home gym. See? Nothing. But some messages need to get through. Like making sure they're buckled up the whole ride, every time. Do whatever it takes to make your child listen. Jen, I friended your boyfriend.
Wait, what?
Buckle up, sweetie.
Never give up until they buckle up. Learn more at safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Major key alert. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at GetSchooled.com. Brought to you by Get Schooled and the Ad Council.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans. When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer. I want to be a warm place on a cold day. I want to be a football stadium. I want to be a bike that races around the country. I want to be a bench on a forest trail. When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
And so a new American industry has been born.
Sensation Station Network.
All right, welcome back to Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pam, and I'm joined by TRaynard. And we were talking about the research on broken windows theory, and I just wanted to give the broken windows behaviors. So we have basically a behavior is, and again, broken windows is when we don't have, we don't stand up for ourselves. We don't say no when we need to say no. So it's not opting out. So you're in a situation that you're knowing this ain't right, and you just don't opt out. You stick with it. Trying to change the other person.
Oh,
very common.
Yeah.
Yes. Being in denial. It's not really the way. No, it's not really like that. Red flag behavior, and this is so the other person is presenting red flag behavior. Signs of disinterest. That book, He Just Ain't That Into You, that was a really good book. That was a big deal a few years ago. And then typically unavailable relationships where somebody is emotionally unavailable.
And you know what, as men, we often communicate that. Say, you know what, now is not a good time. Because men, we have a difficult time multitasking. So when we're focused on growing that empire, okay, that's our focus. And so we tell women that, and women say, okay, well, I understand, I can help you build it. And we're like, no, I need to get this right now.
Yeah.
And so what happens, we're telling you we're unavailable emotionally, but you kind of force your way in. And it becomes problematic because now we're putting the career before you, and you're feeling some kind of way.
Right. And oh, guilty. Been there. That is so good because I have definitely done that. That's me being in denial while the male is communicating, not right now.
Right.
This is not the time. Oh, no. If I stick around long enough, if I help support, I'll help him build this empire.
Right.
And that actually makes it worse when you force yourself to try to build an empire that he's trying to build on his own, and he really wants to do it on his own.
Yes.
So I want to elaborate on that a little bit more. We're going to go to break, but I want to elaborate on that because that is an issue I have had, and that was eye-opening for me when I realized what I was doing. So, ladies, I know I'm not the only one. We're going to talk about this when we come back.
So, I'm a dog, and I just got adopted by this new human guy, and I'm starting to wonder how he got along without me. I mean, okay, something as simple as walking around the block. He's got this leash thing, and he puts me on one end and him on the other, and I'm just taking him around. I think he's afraid of getting lost. Without that leash and me guiding him along, I don't think he'd find his way back home. But it's kind of cute.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
Okay, so 5 tacos of cheese and a large soda. That's $10,012. Please drive around.
Wait, 10,000 what?
It's obvious you're buzzed and driving.
I've only had a few. I'm fine.
Yeah, the food's $12, but getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Please drive around. Actually, just park and come in.
Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Coming to Tampa Bay, I said we want to win a Super Bowl, and I believe we will.
From IamSecond.com.
We came close, but never really did win that championship.
Former NFL head coach Tony Dungy.
At the end of my 6th year, I was fired, and it was one of the biggest disappointments of my life. Next year, I'm in Indianapolis, get to the playoffs, but get knocked out again. And for the next couple of years, it's the same thing. Everyone is saying Colts are never going to win one. And I did wonder, why didn't it pan out the way I thought it would? but I determined that I had to have Christ first and that everything else came below that, including my own desires. The next year, that ended up being our year to go to the Super Bowl and win it, and it was a wonderful feeling. Every decision I make, I'm going to make it through the lens of Jesus Christ, and He'd guide us to that ultimate victory. I'm Tony Dungy, and I am second.
All right, welcome back. Dr. Pam, TRaynard, like talking relationships. So one of the points made right before the break was that we are, as women, we don't always listen to what's being said. And this was one of the things that were listed as the broken window behaviors. When somebody tells us they're unavailable, we, for whatever reason, I'm trying to build my empire. I'm just fresh out of a relationship. I'm really not in the right mindset. And our response is, oh, we got that. We'll fix it. We got you.
Right.
What's...
And you know what? That's very frustrating for men because we have this stereotype of we aren't communicators, okay? But when we communicate, y'all don't listen sometimes,
And that's exactly what Robert Pierce just said on Facebook. He said, sometimes when we say something, as men, when men say something, women don't believe it.
Right. We are not that complex, okay? If we say this is how we feel, then honestly, that's just it, I was talking to a woman the other day who's basically, she said, initially when she met this guy, he said, I'm not ready for a relationship right now. So they just hung out, and she started coming over and cooking for him and sexing him and doing all the girlfriend, wifey things, okay, a couple times a week. And this went on for 6 months. And then she sees on Facebook one day that he's now in a relationship. And she's like,
ouch,
I thought we were together. He's like, no, but I told you that I wasn't ready, and we were just having fun.
Okay, all right.
Ooh,
She's wrong.
Wait a minute. Something just went through you.
Something just happened to me.
Okay.
She was wrong. She was wrong. But why did he allow her to do that?
But he told her in the beginning,
I mean, at what point could he not say, so I'm just going to let you know, heads up before I post on Facebook. I know you're coming over here and we're doing this and you're cooking. I'm starting to see somebody else. Why not mention that at the moment that that begins?
You know what? I 100% agree. I mean, that is the right thing to do. Be 100% transparent. Say, listen, I am seeing other people as I'm seeing you. Or
what's so hard about that?
He got to a place where he didn't see her as girlfriend material, right? Oh. But he still kept reaping the benefits. So yes, he's wrong, but she is wrong for not initially saying, hey, where's this going? Okay.
But those are the words that set them off. We say, where's this going? What are we? We don't need labels. Why do we need labels? Why do we gotta have those conversations?
No. Ladies, no, ask that question.
Oh, yeah, ask the question. And it separates out.
Right.
Yeah, because those who get mad and they're frustrated over the question, and then those who are like, let's talk about it.
Now, don't ask on the first date.
Right.
Okay.
No, it generally happens, the woman is like, okay, seems like it's something, but what's happened? Why isn't this progressing?
Well, I know with me personally, I've kind of slowed my roll a little bit, because I've had I'm this hopeless romantic. So I believe in love, and I'll jump into a relationship without really knowing the person. And then 2 months later, the real person comes out because I met the representative.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I really didn't know this person.
Right.
So I kind of slow my roll a little bit because time reveals all things.
Absolutely.
It either confirms what you think, okay, or it denies what you thought of that person.
Patience is key.
Oh, absolutely.
Patience is key, and that's one of the things I'm learning. We're going to go into the balance challenge, and I want to come back to that for sure.
Keeping your balance with Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela.
Okay, so this week's balance challenge is brought to you by BBLA Cosmetics. That's Breathe Beauty LA, the cosmetic company that has hooked me up today. I especially love when she does the blue on my eyes. You guys see that? I especially love when she does the blue. But today's balance challenge is, and really for this week, I want you to fix your broken windows. So we just gave a definition of what this broken window theory is, and it's basically basically you've got basically how you're presenting yourself, whether it's in your behavior or in the way you look, is inviting certain types of criminal offenses to happen against you. I'm not talking about literally. I'm not talking about rape, and no, I'm talking about in terms of relationships. You know, what kind of environment are you for somebody in a relationship? And so broken windows come in the form of being in denial, red flag behavior, trying to change somebody. Look for your broken windows and fix those broken windows. According to the theory, if a neighborhood has broken windows and graffiti, it is more likely to attract more crime as opposed to those broken windows and graffiti being cleaned up right away. We all have broken windows. We all have graffiti. But how quickly do we clean them up? Do we have broken windows from 20 years ago?
Wow.
What do we do about that? Do you have anything to add? That's your challenge for this week.
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, it taps into self-reflection. It's difficult to hold a mirror up to our face because we don't always like what we see. But I think that's very important because, unfortunately, you have a lot of men and women thinking that the other people are the problem.
Oh, goodness, yeah.
Okay. The problem is here. It starts with you.
Right.
You know, what is it that you're attracting? I notice, you know, for myself and a lot of other men, we attract the same type of woman. Okay, and go through the same things. But what's the common denominator in every situation?
You, yeah.
Is me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have to see if, you know, self-reflection. Do you have broken windows? Do you carry baggage into each and every relationship?
Right.
But what are you going to do about it? I think people want to do something about it, but they don't know how to fix it, Dr. Pam.
Because it requires looking in the mirror, and so many people don't want to and cannot look at themselves.
Right.
You know, and that is, you can't fix nothing until you can do that.
Right.
So that is your challenge for this week. I want you to fix your broken windows. We'll be right back.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
We're more connected than ever before. 90% of America's students use some form of social media, but not all of it's used in a good way. Hurtful posts online are leading to social isolation for many. Psychologists say it's bullying in a brand new way. Well, Beyond Differences and I Keep Safe are looking to change that with ideas for students, their parents, and even teachers. Take the pledge to be kind online and learn more at wearekindonline.com.
Uncle Dan? Mom? Dad? If you store your guns properly, so not just anyone can get to them.
I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside.
Safer when walking home.
Safer when my friends come over. As your neighbor, I'll feel safer.
As a school teacher, I'll feel safer.
We'll all feel safer.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Remember, always lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
All right, we're having a behind-the-scenes discussion.
Yeah.
Well, you know, because Robert Pierce made another comment, and he said that basically, men will tell the woman, be honest, it doesn't work out. You know, say he's not ready, but she continues to persist. And then it doesn't work out. He finds somebody else, and she's blindsided by it, and then say that she was done wrong or that she was...
Dr. Pamela, that is so frustrating to men on so many different fronts. Because as men, we feel that, you know what, we were open, upfront, and honest with you from the very beginning. And you've now chosen to be in this situation.
Right.
Ain't nothing changed, right? And so you're now labeling me as a bad guy because ain't nothing changed, but I told you from the beginning where I was in my life.
Right.
Okay. And so for men, it's very frustrating because we're accused of playing with your heart. And our assumption is, look, if we told you where we were, then, and you're choosing to be in this situation,
then that's where the integrity stops.
You can handle it, right? You can handle it.
Yeah, and we can't handle it. The fact of the matter is, and I'm letting you all know, guys, we can't handle it because.
But Dr. Pamela, so we got to not only manage our emotions, but we got to try to manage yours too. Even though she said she could handle it, she really can't.
In the same way that we got to manage y'all's egos. We it goes both ways. It goes both ways.
Wow. Okay. Well, but I think, the key is communication.
It is. That is the key.
And that's one of the things we're going to talk about the love and relationships experience is communication is key.
Yes.
And I think that's where the breakdown is. And I've mentioned this before to you that as men, we have a difficult time tapping into our feelings and our thoughts because as children, okay, we were taught to suppress them. Again, if a little girl falls and hurts herself and she cries, we say, "Oh, come here, it's okay," and we console her.
Right.
But when a little boy falls, we say, "Stop all that crying, be a man."
This is true. Yeah.
So what you're teaching him is, expressing your emotions and feelings is a sign of weakness.
Right.
And so we grow up grown, strong, brawny men who can effectively communicate their feelings and their thoughts. And it causes a breakdown in our relationships.
And when we're going to go to love notes, but before we do that, I need to say there was a meme that I saw that basically said, it's challenging our men embrace the emotional side that you get when you have a woman in your life, because she's teaching you and she's allowing you to embrace that emotional side and to let it out. Now, the challenge is, are we women, are we doing that? Are we allowing that?
But there's a way to do that.
Yeah.
As men, we don't like to be handled. We don't like to be domineered, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Women, finesse your way into that.
Yes. They love that.
Oh, absolutely.
That is, you couldn't have said it more beautiful. Finesse your way into that. They love that. We're going to go to the love notes.
Love Notes with Dr. Pamela.
So this love note is quite simple, straight to the point, written by Shailene. And she says, first of all, let me tell you who's bringing this to you. Brought to you by Right Pitch Publish. Right Pitch Publish is the Innovative Writers Conference that allows you to sit down and have one-on-one sessions with literary agents. If you are looking to publish a book, if you want to promote your book, if you want to make the most out of your message that you have for people, you want to be at the Right Pitch Publish Conference right here in Atlanta on September 15th and in Milwaukee, Wisconsin on February 19th. Go to rightpitchpublish.com to check it out. Now, here's the letter from Shailene. It's really just a 3-sentence, and it says, "Dear Dr. Pamela, I am newly divorced and back on the dating scene. It is very intimidating. Any advice? Shailene." Wide open question.
Well, let me tell you what I did. The first thing I did, because I was in a similar situation, is to do a self-evaluation. Look in the mirror. Think back to some of the common things that every person that I'd ever dated said. There was always a common thread. So chances are that was true.
Yeah.
Okay. I got professional help as well.
Yes, me
within
too.
our community, therapy is taboo.
Right.
Okay. And it really helped me out a lot. And then I began to make a list of 5 non-negotiables.
Oh, that's good.
Things that I had to have in a relationship. And then honestly, I said, Lord, please allow me to see a woman as you see her. See, as men, we see you from the outside. Okay, but God sees you from the inside out.
Right. Right.
And
that's
so
big.
that's what I did.
I love it. So we're going to go a little bit more into this because there's no way to do this justice in a few seconds. So we're going to come back and give a little bit more advice to Shailene. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
The world is changing. And we are change. Sensation Station Network. Radio of Dumbbell. Exchange.
All right, welcome to the live exchange. We are deep into our conversation, and now we're into the second hour, and we are here every Thursday talking love, politics, intellect. Today, the focus is love, but we got into some politics, looking at some of the stuff that's going on in the world and how Childish Gambino really kind of encapsulated really what's going on in America. And how we are talking about, some people are, oh, he's married to a white woman, so he can't have anything to say about black experiences.
But you know what, though? I think it's good because it's causing people to have conversations.
It is.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
Conversation, because that's where it starts. And
Right.
that helps us to get closer to solutions.
You're absolutely right. And that's, yes, and that's why we are here, because we are like, we need to talk through some stuff. We were helping out Shailene, who says she's newly divorced, back on the dating scene, and it's intimidating. And it is intimidating. I've been on the dating scene for 8 years, and it's intimidating.
8 years?
Yeah, the divorced 8 years ago, and yeah,
it's not the dating scene, Dr. Pam. It must be you.
It must
8
be
years?
me. Yeah, I'm too much. Too awesome. But no, there's a lot to navigate out there, and I'll say probably not so much intimidating, as it was when I first stepped into it. Intimidating wouldn't be the word I'd use to describe it anymore, but it's definitely a phenomenon of sorts to be out there. And I like the advice that you gave about therapy. I honestly think that is the first thing that she should do, and not that she can't enjoy her life while in therapy, but I think that before she does anything major, makes any major decisions, that she really should start with therapy, just to get her mind right, just to, and it's not always, sometimes it's about finding the right match, because the first person you sit down with may not be the fit for you. But don't give up. Don't say, oh, this ain't for me. If the person you didn't connect, don't give up. There are a lot of different styles, types of therapy out there. So I highly recommend that. And but I love what you said about seeing, that prayer about seeing people the way that God sees them. And we all have various belief systems, but there are ways to see somebody outside of the shallow stuff.
Because Dr. Pam, I was shallow for a very long time. My thing was, dog, she is gorgeous. I don't even care if she can read.
Right.
All right, that's gonna be my boo. Okay, but because as men, we're about the physical.
Yeah.
Okay, and so therapy helps you really tap into what's going on. And for me, out of my last relationship, I didn't realize how broken I was. I was hurting because I masked it, right? Because as men, you're not supposed to get depressed and get down. Look,
Black women too.
You pick yourself up.
Yep.
And you know what my boys say? They say, hey, the best way to get over a woman is get another one.
Yeah. I was gonna say to get under, but for the women, it's get under him. Yeah. But you get on top. I mean, either way,
get under him.
Well,
I want to talk about that.
We are gonna talk about that too.
But what happens? You take your baggage from situation to situation, and you're wondering why it's not working out.
Yes.
You got to fix it.
Right. And one of the things that I did learn, with regards to 8 years being divorced and realizing what's the pattern, like what's going on, because one of the things that's so important that I have to point out to Shailene is don't just look at how you're going to address other people outside of the world. Look at yourself. One of the things I learned about my consistency is that I have been a hustler, solving my problems. So every single man that I have dated, I've been like, let me fix him. Let me solve his problems. I am a good person. I have a lot to bring to the table. So he'll just love me after I do that.
Right.
That doesn't work. That does not work. So look inside of yourself and find out what your patterns are. And once you can find out what your patterns are, it doesn't mean Prince Charming is going to come right away, but it means you're going to find peace and happiness. And then, whatever comes after that, I'll let you all know. Stay right with us. We'll be right back.
If you're a single man under the age of 35, you'd probably like to know what the ladies are looking for on an online dating site. A guy who had a few drinks and later got pulled over for buzzed driving. See, that could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. And doesn't a guy who's back living with his parents but calls them my roommates just scream Mr. Right?
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the
We're more connected than ever before. 90% of America's students use some form of social media, but not all of it's used in a good way. Hurtful posts online are leading to social isolation for many. Psychologists say it's bullying in a brand new way. Well, Beyond Differences and I Keep Safe are looking to change that with ideas for students, their parents, and even teachers. Take the pledge to be kind online and learn more at wearekindonline.com.
If you're a single man under the age of 35, you'd probably like to know what the ladies are looking for on an online dating site. A guy who had a few drinks and later got pulled over for buzzed driving. See, that could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. And doesn't a guy who's back living with his parents but calls them my roommates just scream Mr. Right?
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the
You use Tearless Baby Shampoo because it's gentle on your baby's eyes. You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You always test the bath water to make sure it's not too hot. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off. You make sure she wears a helmet when she rides her bicycle. You put on his sunscreen, even when he's embarrassed his friends will see. You do so much to keep your child safe, but are you using the right car seat for your child? Is your child facing the right way in the car seat? Is the seat too big or too small? How do you know when it's time to move your child into the next type of seat? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat. That's safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Having trouble finding Connor's middle school? Would you like directions?
No, why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with him over homework.
Home, walk, restaurant. Need a review?
No, I need help. He's very smart, but his mind wanders. He's disorganized.
I think I understand.
Oh, good.
Finding best potatoes for French fries.
No!
Russet. Fingerling. Yukon Gold.
Why don't you understand me?
Sorry, I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
For the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues, this is what life can feel like. Explore understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues, designed to help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
Brought to you by understood.org and the Ad Council.
All right, so welcome back. We're talking about just relationships, the dating scene. And I know Shailene, who is newly divorced and is trying to figure out her life. What do I do now? What are your thoughts from a male perspective with regards to her situation?
So I have a daughter, right? My daughter will be 8 next month. I feel for her, right? In this day and time, it's very difficult for single women who are looking for a sustainable relationship.
Right.
Because as men, oh my gosh, it's like, I don't know, 20 to 1 out here. And so as men, our behaviors have changed. We are no longer pursuers. We sit back and allow y'all to come to us.
That's why I'm single.
Okay. If you do, and our tolerance is very, very low. So if you wear your hair a certain way that we don't like, nah, it's okay. We'll dismiss you. Okay. Because we got 19 others to choose from.
Right.
And unfortunately, it's almost like, what was that show, Flavor of Love, where you have the women competing for the attention of this one man. And that's very unfortunate.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, and I shared with you, one time I showed interest in a woman, we communicated, and our first phone conversation, I could just hear her typing. And I finally said, what are you doing? She says, oh, I'm working on schoolwork. I said, okay, well, I can call you back at another time. No, I can do this. And she continued to type, and she was obviously distracted and cussing at the kids.
Oh, my goodness.
And I said, you know what? I tell you what, I'm going to let you go. And I never called her again. So when she had my attention, you know, I wasn't her captive audience.
Right.
And so she dismissed herself. And I could easily dismiss her because I'm like, there are other good people out here who are interested.
Right. And that's definitely a challenge out there, you know, newly divorced, depending on how long you've been married, if the scene has changed and it was a time where
Right.
men were pursuing women, and I think age categories make a difference as well. If you're,
Right.
when you were in college, you had a kind of a breeding ground for dating, and if
Right.
you're in your 40s, you've got, like I said at the beginning of the show, all these baggage that everybody's carrying around.
Well, and I think it's okay to have standards,
Mm-hmm.
but I think sometimes women's standards are not realistic. Okay, you want the brother to look like Idris Elba. You want him to have a six-figure income. You want him to have no kids, no baby mama drama, and you want him to be 6'5", 240 built.
Well, again, and I think that's age categories, because I think once we get in our 40s, I think we kind of over that. Like, okay,
Really?
yeah, I just want to. Is he breathing? I mean, but that is absolutely true, and I think that at one point in our life we're very idealistic, and we've got all these expectations. I remember my list was about he's got to love his mama, he's got to have a good job, he's got to, but none of that. Once I got older in life, realized. None of that has anything to do with who he is as a person.
Right.
I know guys who love their mama and nobody else.
Right.
I only love my mama. Like, what is
Right.
the song? God's Plan. That's what he said. I only love my mama. Yeah. So loving the mama, that's great. That's not enough, but that used to be my standard. As we get older, so I think the women that you're talking about, they still have some maturing to do. If they're in their 50s and they're still thinking that way, they still have some maturing to do.
Right.
That's just the reality. Are we still okay? Trending topics. We're gonna get into some trending topics.
Primary election. Lack of diversity. Gas prices.
Michael Jackson. Trending topics.
Okay, so there's been kind of a continuation of the different ways in which people of color have been marginalized in the country. It's just continuing. It's not like it's new. And so before I say this, I just want to first acknowledge Peasy Heads Lemon Butter Cream. Let Peasy Heads bring the best natural out of you. Be who you are. Be the natural you, even if the country doesn't like it. Be who you are. Be who you are. This first story comes out of, I believe it's Colorado. The mother of two Native American students says she believes racism played a role in her boys being pulled off of a college tour at their dream school, Colorado State University. The brothers were a part of a group touring the campus when campus police detained them for a pat-down. They were eventually released, but missed the rest of their tour. The officials say the parent of another prospective student called the police on them because they apparently made her nervous. And as I read further into the article, they made her nervous because they were so quiet. They weren't saying anything. What?
But doesn't that remind you of the coffee chain that had the issue with the two men?
Yes, it reminds me of a lot of things that seem to keep happening over and over and over again. University in Florida, I don't remember which one, pulled off the graduates from the stage because they were dancing.
Right.
And I mean, it's just a black student in Yale was sleeping in the commons area of the residence hall. A resident calls the police on her. She's a student.
Right.
And so it's like you can't sleep.
Right.
You can't go on a college tour. You
Right.
can't celebrate your graduation. You
Right.
can't meet in a coffee shop.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm doing. What I'm teaching my children is we're not going to be victims.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm making them aware of what's going on in society.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
And so, just my focus is how to act when, not if, but when these situations occur.
Right. And that is the best way. That's the best way to address it. Airbnb was another one.
Yeah.
So we're going to go to break. There's so much more that we can say about that, but I don't want to lose our focus on relationships. So
I got a question to ask you, and I'm not going to ask you on the break. I'm going to wait until we live on the radio.
okay, all right. I can't wait to hear this question.
Great leaders aren't born, they're made. And not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
People are always looking to invest in a good opportunity. So what if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change called Better Futures. With your investment, it helps students like me go to college. My name is Charles, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. Brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
Attention, licensed financial professionals. Are you looking to provide client solutions for longevity risks, withdrawal rate risks, and sequence of return risks? If you answered yes, then Game Plan Financial Marketing could be right for you. We help financial professionals at every level of production by providing mentoring, sales training, and marketing support to help you grow your business. At Game Plan, our top priority is supporting you and helping you reach that next level of success on your terms, not ours. New team members receive a personalized, step-by-step marketing guide to help take your business to the next level. Claim your copy today. Call Brian Cantrell at 404-889-6317. That's 404-889-6317. Offer is intended for licensed insurance professionals only.
Okay, so you had a question for me. I'm kind of scared, but go ahead.
Okay, Dr. Pam, you said you've been single roughly for 8 years.
Yes.
Okay. Do you think men are intimidated by your education, your status, or have you really done a self-assessment and said, there's something about me that's not attracting men?
I said it. You weren't listening. See, you don't be listening. So what I said was, yes, there is definitely my self-assessment was that I'm a fixer. Right. So, when I get in a situation and the man presents a problem, like, I'm not ready right now, or there's, I'm just dating, or, whatever the issue is, I have a solution. Okay, well, let's pool our resources together and let's think about how we can solve this problem. Right. And in my mind, I'm thinking once we solve this, we can get back to the relationship track. And I've done it every single time I've been involved with somebody.
But Dr. Pam, I just think that's not an issue with every man. Because on the flip side, there are too many women that's like, you know what, that's you, that's your dream, that's your issue, or you need to call your mama to help you with that.
Right.
And as men, we want a woman that's like, you know what, we want to get down and dirty with you. We want to roll up our sleeves.
Right.
And tap into your perspective.
And I think that probably in fairness, I haven't dated a whole lot of people. Now, I've had opportunities, but I immediately kind of get a sense of, this probably isn't gonna be a good fit. So I'm not one to just date to date. I know a lot of people are like, girl, just go out there, experience everything. Right. And I don't. So I think I can count on one hand how many people I've dated since I've been divorced. So
in 8 years?
Yeah, because it's just not my, I'm very strategic and careful about who's in my life. So yes.
Okay, Dr. Pam, in 8 years, one hand, we have 5 fingers. 8 years.
That's about right.
Okay.
That's accurate.
I think we need to work on your strategic plan.
Good. Now, what I did do, Paul Brunson once put out there a 10-date challenge. I challenge you ladies to go out on 10 dates over the next few weeks, and you initiate it. You introduce yourself. You make it happen. I did the challenge. I loved it.
Really?
Yes. So I won't say that I've only been on that many of dates, but I'm talking about when I'm actually starting to see somebody and it becomes a little bit more, intentional. Right. Yeah, it's probably been on one hand, but I have definitely dated. It just,
One thing to be careful of that a lot of men do, ladies, hear me out, okay? Men will take you off the market before he puts a label on the relationship. Be very careful with that. Yeah. After about 2 or 3 dates, everything's going well, you're getting to know him, he's getting to know you, he'll say to you, if you're truly interested in me, okay, and getting to know me, I don't want you dating anybody else right now as you're getting to know me.
Right.
Okay. But on the flip side, he's getting to know other women.
Right.
Okay, so what he's doing, he's kind of putting you away.
We know this.
but there are women who still say, okay.
Yeah, they don't care.
Right.
We know, but and I say they don't care because that's why I say I'm very careful about who I go that extra mile with because I I'm fully aware, and I do care, and that's not okay with me.
But here's the thing. I'm very aware if a woman says, you know, I am out here dating other people, okay, or I'm sexing other people, that goes into consideration for me.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm not
As
as
it should.
invested.
Right.
Because Thursday you out with old boy.
Right.
And Friday you with me.
And that is very common. That's very common. I just, it's not for me. I can't do it. I'm very
You can
focused.
miss me with that.
I'm focused. Yeah, I can't do that. We're going to get into the research, but this is good. We got to get back into this too. But
In the interest of science, 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 science.
Okay, so today's research is brought to you by Red Door Consulting, which is a boutique management consulting firm that will help get your brand on point, whatever your business is. Tarshish Jordan will make sure that you represent your brand
She's
accordingly.
awesome.
She is awesome. Go to www.reddoorconsulting8.com for more information. So today's research on the second hour is looking at sex. And really, it's a study that comes out of the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships. I'm a member of the International Association of Relationship Research, and this is the journal for that association. And so what this basically says, the headline is the relationship implications of rejecting a partner for sex kindly versus having sex reluctantly. Before I even tell you the results of that, what do men prefer in your experience? Do you prefer to be kindly declined for sex? This is within a relationship. Or do you prefer her to just go through with it reluctantly, get it over with, and then y'all go to sleep?
Yeah, reluctantly. Yeah. Like, did you just ask me that? Yeah.
So you go with the reluctant sex?
Yeah, because y'all would say, oh, I'm asleep. And we like, so did nobody ask you to wake up?
I don't even know what that's like to say I'm asleep. I don't know who does that. But anyway, I'm like,
yeah.
Wow. Okay, and I don't know because I when I was, we'll just talk about when I was married, I didn't decline. I didn't decline. Not because I felt like it was out of obligation. It was because I wanted to. So
Right.
I don't know. Although that wasn't true the whole time. But I didn't decline. So I guess I have done the combination of, I think for me it was probably reluctance. More so the case on those times where I just really wasn't feeling it, but I was like, okay. But what this study found, is that those relationships in which rejection happened, the couples were actually happier and had more fulfilling sexual experiences versus the couple in which reluctant sex was more of the way that they expressed not wanting to,
What, are these black men?
I don't know. But it says that chronic pursuit of sex. Wait. Let me read this right. So a chronic pursuit of sex in relationships where there was avoidance, where they had detrimental consequences over time, but positive rejection helped sustain relationship satisfaction.
Positive rejection.
Yes.
Those two words don't even go together.
Well, because you can't expect that somebody always wants to have sex every single time you want to have sex. That just doesn't happen. It's not.
Right.
So, is it better to be kind and gracious and baby, I love you, but not right now? Or just say, fine, go ahead.
B. Fine, go ahead. I'm like, okay.
Wow. All right, we gotta go to break. I want to talk about this more. I would love to hear what you all think. If you're on Facebook or you want to give us a call, 678-613-5857. I would love to know what you think. Be right back.
Cleaned up cooking.
I'm more resourceful than I thought.
My suit can still make an impression.
My video games are still game changers.
And my lamp can bring others a bright future.
Because when I donate my stuff to Goodwill,
It helps fund job placement and training for people right in my community.
Now my stuff gets a second chance.
and will give someone in my community
A second chance too.
Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. That's goodwill.org. This message brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Coming to Tampa Bay, I said we want to win a Super Bowl, and I believe we will.
From IamSecond.com.
We came close, but never really did win that championship.
Former NFL head coach Tony Dungy.
At the end of my 6th year, I was fired, and it was one of the biggest disappointments of my life. Next year, I'm in Indianapolis, get to the playoffs, but get knocked out again. And for the next couple of years, it's the same thing. Everyone is saying Colts are never going to win one. And I did wonder, why didn't it pan out the way I thought it would? But I determined that I had to have Christ first, and that everything else came below that, including my own desires. The next year, that ended up being our year to go to the Super Bowl and win it, and it was a wonderful feeling. Every decision I make, I'm going to make it through the lens of Jesus Christ, and He'd guide us to that ultimate victory. I'm Tony Dungy, and I am second.
You use tearless baby shampoo because it's gentle on your baby's eyes. You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You always test the bath water to make sure it's not too hot. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off. You make sure she wears a helmet when she rides her bicycle. You put on his sunscreen, even when he's embarrassed his friends will see. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Is your child facing the right way in the car seat? Is the seat too big or too small? How do you know when it's time to move your child into the next type of seat? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat. That's safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Having trouble finding Connor's middle school? Would you like directions?
No, why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with him over homework.
Home walk restaurant. Need a review?
No, I need help. He's very smart, but his mind wanders. He's disorganized.
I think I understand.
Oh, good.
Finding best potatoes for French fries.
No!
Russet. Fingerling. Yukon Gold.
Why don't you understand me?
Sorry, I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org. For the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues, this is what life can feel like. Explore understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues, designed to help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything. Brought to you by understood.org and the Ad Council.
All right. Yes, we are talking about unity between men and women and what that means from the standpoint of relationships. I am joined by TRaynard. He is the founder of the Love and Relationships Experience. And y'all, we've got 2 amazing events happening this weekend. One in downtown Atlanta, Midtown Atlanta, and one all the way in the boonies in Gwinnett County. So we are the Love and Relationship Experience.
Yes.
Is happening at Kylan
Art Gallery.
Art Gallery.
Oh,
Sounds
yeah.
beautiful.
Great food, great drinks.
Awesome.
It's a great experience, discussion. You get to hear from a male perspective.
From multiple males on a panel.
Absolutely.
And then a panel of women.
Of women as well.
Awesome.
And, food prepared by a celebrity chef. I mean,
comedian.
It's just a great time. It really is.
Awesome. And that's 5:30.
5:30 to 9:30.
This Saturday.
This Saturday,
Yes.
and they can go to the lrexperience.eventbrite.com.
All right.
Get your tickets.
Sounds good. And I also have an event happening
Yeah.
same day. Women, Wine, and Wisdom. If y'all know me, then you know Women, Wine, and Wisdom. It's a relationship discussion. And it's for men and women, but we're going to be talking relationships as well. So, check us out. Gwinnett County. We're in Lawrenceville at Cornerstone Co-working. You can look that up, Women, Wine, and Wisdom, and you'll find all the information there. And that's at 7. So, it's going to be a busy Saturday. We're going to be talking about relationships all over the Atlanta area.
Yes, it's so needed, though,
Yeah.
Dr. Pam.
Yeah,
it
is.
really is.
It is.
Because a lot of people, they're tired.
Yeah.
Okay, men and
Apparently,
women.
we all are tired because
Oh,
he
my
started the
gosh.
show saying exactly what I hear women say all the time. I'm tired. We're tired.
We're tired.
Yeah.
You know,
It's exhausting.
even though men who are in relationships, sometimes are tired because we feel like our women just beat us down, you know, and we're strong men, but we're just tired of fighting. And so often a man is slow to commit, not because he's trying to be a player, right, but because he's been hurt and, you know, he's just tired.
Yeah.
And women, you do a better job of, you're able to function when you're hurt. Okay, you may cry a little bit and then you keep it moving.
Yeah.
With men, it takes a toll on us. I know with me, when I'm hurt, if I'm in a relationship and it's not going right, it really affects my creativity. You know, and it's just exhausting. So I'd rather not be in something than sometimes to be in a situation that maybe is good, but possibly go bad at any point.
Well, you know, it's interesting, and 2 points to that is that a lot of the women that I know, in which we share and we're open, and things that we will never share with the rest of the world, is that we do in fact break down to the point where we're not functional. We're in bed, you know, we call in sick. We just, you know, and all these things. We don't let y'all know that, but that's, you know, but those are the things that are happening, and I've seen a lot of, you know, and the thing is, we don't often talk to each other enough about it either. So we fall into this depression and don't even know what it is, you know. But the other thing is, which with you saying, you know, people just kind of stay in situations. That's one of the things that Natalie Liu, I mentioned. She's the one who talked about the broken window syndrome. She mentioned there's this idea that people just don't want to bother to get over breakups. So, like, that is just even the way that she phrased that. People are not bothering to get over breakups. So what they're doing, and it's exactly the phrase you used before, one way to get over one woman is to get another woman. For women, it's one way to get over one man is to get under another man. That has been the mantra, and I have seen it play out. And I'm telling you, I talked about generations before. I see it play out so heavily in the 40s because we're tired. We're all tired. So we are not even bothering to get over breakups anymore. We're just like, you know what, forget that. I'm just going to find me something else. And that is why, in my case, I have only dated a few people, because I take the time in between. Like, look, I need to take some time and really make sure I'm assessing myself before I'm not going to just jump in and get under somebody else. And so I want to talk about that a little bit, because I think that impacts what we bring into the next situation.
Definitely.
So stay with us, and we're going to look at that. Be right back.
Sensation Station Network.
Say about that. Coming to Tampa Bay, I said we want to win a Super Bowl, and I believe we will.
From IamSecond.com.
We came close, but never really did win that championship.
Former NFL head coach Tony Dungy.
At the end of my 6th year, I was fired, and it was one of the biggest disappointments of my life. Next year, I'm in Indianapolis, get to the playoffs, but get knocked out again. And for the next couple of years, it's the same thing. Everyone is saying Colts are never going to win one. And I did wonder, why didn't it pan out the way I thought it would? But I determined that I had to have Christ first, and that everything else came below that, including my own desires. The next year, that ended up being our year to go to the Super Bowl and win it, and it was a wonderful feeling. Every decision I make, I'm going to make it through the lens of Jesus Christ, and He'd guide us to that ultimate victory. I'm Tony Dungy, and I am second.
Great leaders aren't born, they're made. And not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
Did you just look down at your phone? You did it again, didn't you? You know, you're flying down the road in a 3-ton hunk of steel, and a text takes your eyes off the road for an average of 5 seconds. At 55 miles per hour, that's long enough to travel the length of a football field and cause some serious damage. Turn it off. Trust me, whatever it is, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextsstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Keeping your balance with Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela.
Welcome back. The balance challenge is to fix your broken windows. You know, we've all got them, and your broken windows are behaviors, the ways that you present yourself that attract negativity, that attract offenses like being lied to, or dealing with people who they're notorious for being unreliable.
Right.
You know, so what is it that you can fix? And this is not all about blaming the victim. Don't get on me about that. But there are always things that we can fix within ourselves that can improve our relationship experiences. And that can make us more keen on seeing when I'm in a situation I don't need to be in and I need to pull back. And so that fix your broken windows so that you can see through that window and function.
Dr. Pam, that's so hard though, because you've invested so much time and so much energy into this relationship, and you're like, do I throw it all away now?
Yeah, that's always the hard question.
You know, do I pull back or do I work harder?
Yeah, and there's never a prescribed answer to that.
Right.
You know, do I work harder or do I,
You know, I had the tendency in the past of saying, you know what, I'm not dealing with this, I'm out. And that was my mantra in every relationship.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, I had to say, you know what, I need to stick and stay. But then I began to stick and stay in the wrong relationships.
And that has to be frustrating then, because like now I'm doing the right thing.
Right.
And it's with the wrong people.
Right.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
You know, and so that's why I think it's very important that you do the self-assessment, right? It's very important that you have open, honest dialogue with your partner.
Right.
You know,
that's where we struggle.
Oh, it's so important. It's so important. You know, and men and women, we think differently.
Yeah.
You know, I thought about a friend who, she said she was so excited to tell her husband, I think we need to have a baby. And she was upset because he didn't share in that excitement.
Yeah.
Well, he's thinking, man, we need a bigger house. I'm going to get a bigger car. Oh my gosh, I need to open up another college fund. You know, that's where his mind was. But she was upset with him because he didn't share that same enthusiasm as her. We think differently.
So that's interesting because, you know, we talked earlier about how women read too much into what men are saying. And we do that. You know, if he says something, but what did that really mean? Blah, 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 we analyze it. That is an example of how a man does the exact same thing. She wanted to have a baby. She's excited about it. Just focus on that for a minute. Just be in that with her for a minute, and then get to all of that other part. He's saying no.
Dr. Pam, you know why? Because sometimes as men, we feel like we're already drowning in financial obligations and work responsibilities. And so instead of throwing me a life preserver, you throwing more water on me. You know. So
I'm not allowed to share my heart's desires with you.
Yeah, share, but understand my thought process and why I'm not as excited as you. Because you know what? At the end of the day, if my family fails, the world doesn't look at you.
Oh, yes, they do.
They look at me. If my family's homeless, if my family is not financially stable, they look at me.
They look at me too.
Well, they look at me more than you know.
So what? Again, I'm all about it's two-sided. So you want her to understand all of his freaking out over the next 20 years when all she's saying, I want to have a baby. Can he not also do the same? Can he not also have a level of empathy and feel for her too? Yes.
Let's sit down and let's think this thing through.
Right.
From an emotional standpoint, but also from a logical standpoint as well.
Absolutely.
It's now the time.
Right. So let's have that conversation.
Right.
But let me acknowledge your happiness, your joy. Like, wow, you are really happy about this. Okay. So let's talk about the logistics.
So
how hard would that have been?
But listen.
That's 5 words.
But listen. Now, when you're politely or reluctantly having sex with me and all of that.
He brought in a whole other element.
Oh, man.
You can still get pregnant reluctantly.
I'm the one politely turning you down because we ain't trying to have a baby right now.
Oh, my gosh. I can't. All right, we'll be right back.
I'm more resourceful than I thought.
My suit can still make an impression.
My video games are still game changers.
And my lamp can bring others a bright future.
Because when I donate my stuff to Goodwill,
It helps fund job placement and training for people right in my community.
Now my stuff gets a second chance.
and will give someone in my community
A second chance too.
Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. That's goodwill.org. This message brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Indoor baseball, anyone?
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Did you just look down at your phone? You did it again, didn't you? You know, you're flying down the road in a 3-ton hunk of steel, and a text takes your eyes off the road for an average of 5 seconds. At 55 miles per hour, that's long enough to travel the length of a football field and cause some serious damage. Turn it off. Trust me, whatever it is, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextsstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
This is big business. This is the American way. See ya.
All right, so we are talking about relationships, and we're kind of at the tail end of the conversation. It's just never enough time, and this is why your relationship event is 4 hours.
Yes.
My relationship event is 3 hours.
Yes.
We need to really dig into this stuff. Right. I mean, there's just so much to talk about, and one of the things that I just wanted to point out before we finish up is some of the red flag behaviors, and I hate to just throw these out there and just leave it and go, but you know, you want to be careful, and you've got to be willing to walk away from something if you see that, you know, they're addicted to something, if they're married or attached. Too many times people are like, you know, I just kind of hang around. Anger and aggression, that is my deal breaker. I can't deal with anger and aggression. They play victim. They're not over their ex. They're controlling. I can't deal with that either. Dodgy attitude towards sex. So that basically means you have very different sex values. When I read dodgy, I was like, what does that mean? It means that you have different ideas of what's great. I like to be tied up, and he doesn't like to be tied up. I'm not talking about myself, but I'm saying, you know, what are your... Go ahead.
Is
you
it
want to say something?
Politely turning you down? Is that dodging?
That would be dodgy as I thought it meant, but apparently it's not. Somebody who's irresponsible, somebody who's sleeping with others, unless of course that is, you know, done with permission. Nasty and spiteful. I don't like that at all. Emotionally unavailable. The bulk of communication is by text and email, like you had mentioned, and they are a clown.
but Dr. Pamela, two things. One, when we talk about the texting and all of that, okay, as men, it's frustrating at times because we don't want to stay on the phone for 2 hours talking.
Yeah.
Right? So it's okay that I text you during the day, hey, how's your day going?
Yeah, I think it's a nice balance that could be possible.
Some people's like, no, you got to pick up the phone.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You know, the other thing too, I think it's very, very, very important to get to the root of some of these issues that people are having. You know, when you talk about aggression, okay, that's a symptom, but let's get to the root of what's going on. And that's why, you know, I wholeheartedly endorse therapy. Yeah. You know.
So, you're saying they need to get to the root. I was going to say, because if I'm dating somebody and I just met them, I'm like, I'm not going to get to the root of that. I'm going to let you go deal with that. And, but if you're my husband.
Yeah.
Then I guess I got to.
I'm a firm believer in couples therapy, even when you see that there's nothing wrong. Okay.
I agree. Yeah, absolutely.
The aggression, that's one thing as men we have to learn. We have to stop being so aggressive with our ladies. You know, I'm a man's man, and so I'm aggressive by nature. But when you approach me with an issue, I need to kind of fall back. Yeah. Okay. And that's not being less than a man.
Right, right.
Okay. That's understanding that I'm a man and you're a lady. So I need to kind of deal with you with a little ease.
I love it. I love it. Okay. We have to wrap up. We've got 30 seconds. Anything you want to tell the group, the crowd?
Come out this Saturday to the Love and Relationships Experience at the Kylan Art Gallery. Oh, man, we're going to have a great, great time. Come check us out. And Dr. Pam, I love being here. Thank you so much for having me.
You got to come back again. Yes,
are you going to give me water next time?
I don't know. I might not, because you keep whining about it the whole time. I don't know. All right, you guys. Loving and fulfilling relationships are not just about fate and what's meant to be. They are largely about the collection of choices and decisions we make every day. We choose to love one another, and we make decisions daily to either nurture or destroy that love. Stay with us next week from 11 to 1 on Thursday. I'm going to be joined by licensed professional counselor, Dr. Carla Smith. She's a licensed clinical social worker and licensed marriage and family therapist, and we're going to continue this conversation on relationships. So it's a discussion you don't want to miss. Remember, love yourself to life, dance confidently in the dark, and dream wildly unrealistic dreams. Have an awesome week.
Peace.